Dear my friends, have you ever felt the eyes of others on you, and in that moment something just feels off? People start acting strange, almost as if they're reacting to an unseen force or energy that they can't quite understand. Have you ever wondered why? It's not just in your head. There's a reason why people behave differently when they recognize something powerful and unique about you. You see, when you follow your divine purpose, when your spirit radiates with the strength of your faith and authenticity, it sends ripples through the world around you. This energy, your unwavering devotion to God and the truth you stand for, can disturb those who are not aligned with that same force. Just like light disrupts darkness, your presence stirs up something deep within them. Consider the story of David and Goliath. 1 Samuel 17. David wasn't just a shepherd boy, he was chosen. And when the Israelites saw him step forward with courage to face Goliath, their immediate reaction wasn't one of admiration, but of confusion and disbelief. Who is this young boy to take on such a giant? They must have thought. And yet, God had chosen David not for his size, but for his heart and faith. His energy was different, and it was unsettling to those who didn't understand it. The same happens when people sense that something extraordinary is in you. Whether it's your steadfast faith, your commitment to your beliefs, or simply your unshakable authenticity in a world that demands conformity, they will notice. And they won't always know how to react. Some might try to suppress it, while others might outright reject it. Their discomfort will manifest in strange and at times irritating ways. You'll find yourself thinking, why can't they just be normal? Why are they reacting this way when all I'm doing is living my truth? But this is where it gets interesting. These reactions, though confusing and frustrating, are actually signs of something greater. They're indicators that you've tapped into a higher calling. And in this video, we're going to explore 6 specific behaviors that people often display when they recognize that you've been chosen. These aren't just random actions. They are clear, unmistakable signs that your presence is making an impact. So stay with me as we uncover these 6 behaviors, and I'll help you understand why they act the way they do when they realize that God's hand is upon you. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Have you ever felt that someone was reacting to you in a way that you couldn't quite explain? What was it about your presence that caused such a stir? Let's dive in and uncover the mystery of how being chosen affects those around you. Chosen ones. 6. Things people do when they recognize you are the chosen one. The first thing they do, offering you free things. When people begin to recognize that you are chosen, one of the first things they often do is offer you free things. This might seem like a generous act, but for you, it can feel disconcerting and uncomfortable. Imagine walking into a bar, ready to enjoy your night, and suddenly the bartender says, "The first drink's on me." Or perhaps you attend an event, and before you even ask, someone offers you VIP access. It might even happen in the mundane settings of everyday life, such as shopping, where a store employee gives you an unexpected discount, or dining at a restaurant where your meal is covered without explanation. At first, you may feel a bit confused, maybe even suspicious. Why are they doing this? What have I done to deserve this kindness? You may wonder. This phenomenon occurs because others can sense something extraordinary about you. It's not just about what you say or do. There's an energy around you, an aura that they perceive, even if they don't fully understand it. Think about it. Your very presence radiates a kind of power that draws others to you. This energy, this unique aura, is something people pick up on, sometimes subconsciously, and it creates a kind of gravitational pull. They might not know why, but they feel compelled to offer you something, to honor what they perceive as something special about you. It's as though they're trying to connect with you, to be part of your orbit, to be near your unique energy. This idea isn't new. In the Bible, we see how God's chosen people were treated differently. Take Joseph, for example. In Genesis 41, Pharaoh recognized something extraordinary about Joseph. After interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, Joseph was not only given a position of power, but also gifts, riches, and honor that he did not seek. Pharaoh didn't hesitate to bestow blessings on Joseph because he recognized God's favor in him. Similarly, when people see the chosen energy in you, they respond by offering you things, not necessarily because you asked, but because they want to be part of your story and appreciate the greatness they see in you. But here's the catch. The more you experience these offers, the more you might start to feel uncomfortable. You may even feel pressured by the kindness, as though it comes with unspoken expectations. You didn't ask for it, and sometimes it's hard to know how to respond. Maybe someone pays for your meal and says, "Don't worry, I've got this." Or they invite you to an exclusive event with the subtle implication that your presence is the real reason they've made the invite. And you might find yourself thinking, why are they doing this? Do they want something in return? Or, even more pressingly, am I being set up for something? This can become oppressive. You might feel that people are doing too much, pushing their generosity on you without regard for your personal space or comfort. Sometimes these gestures can feel like they're wrapped in hidden agendas, especially when someone says, "Don't forget me when you're successful," trying to secure their place in your future success. You might even wonder, what if these offers come with strings attached? Now, it's important to understand that these actions come from a place of admiration, but they can also carry a hidden weight. It's natural to feel conflicted when you're the recipient of such gestures. On one hand, graciously accepting these offers can help build connections and open doors that might not have otherwise been available to you. Just like David, who was offered King Saul's armor, 1 Samuel 17, you might find that people want to give you what they believe will aid your success or honor your destiny. However, you must navigate this carefully. What does God say about handling generosity? In Proverbs 11:25, it's written, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." But this doesn't mean you have to accept everything that's offered to you, especially when it feels uncomfortable. You have the right to set boundaries. It's okay to politely decline if the gesture feels forced or comes with expectations you're not ready to fulfill. You do not owe anyone anything just because they've offered you something for free. The key is to remain grounded in who you are. When people offer you something, ask yourself, do I feel peace in accepting this? Or do I feel like there's something more to this that doesn't sit right with me? The answer to that question will guide you in how to respond. The reality is that your energy, your chosen energy, is powerful, and people are attracted to it. They see something in you that they can't quite explain, and they want to connect with that. So, accept the recognition, accept the honor, but do so with discernment. Be sure that the generosity is coming from a genuine place, and that you're not being pressured into something you're not comfortable with. In the end, when you're living your purpose and walking in the light of God, you will attract these offers. It's up to you to navigate them with grace, ensuring that your boundaries are respected, your integrity remains intact, and your unique qualities are both appreciated and protected. After all, your chosen path requires you to maintain balance, to show kindness without becoming overwhelmed by the expectations of others. How will you handle the attention and gifts that come your way? What will your response say about your relationship with the power that flows through you? The second thing they do, sticking close to you. Once people recognize that you are the chosen one, one of the most common behaviors you'll experience is their tendency to stick close to you. It can be subtle at first, but when you possess that unique and radiant energy, others are naturally drawn to you, even without fully understanding why. You become like a magnet, effortlessly attracting attention wherever you go. Imagine walking into a room, minding your own business, and suddenly, before you know it, 5 or 6 people are standing around you. At first, you might feel a sense of confusion or discomfort. You might wonder, why are they so close to me? What do they want? What's happening is that people sense something different about you, a kind of aura or charisma that makes you stand out. It's almost as if you carry a special light within you, one that draws others in. They might not fully understand what it is, but they can feel it. It's as if they believe that just by being near you, something extraordinary can rub off on them. Imagine a flock of birds descending on a piece of bread tossed onto the ground. At first, you don't see any birds, but the moment the bread hits the dirt, they appear in droves, eager to grab a piece. In the same way, people unconsciously flock to you, believing that by being close, they'll be able to absorb some of the extraordinary energy that surrounds you. It's not just about proximity, it's about a desire to connect with what's special about you. Think about the woman who in the Gospel of Mark reached out to touch Jesus' garment in the crowd. In Mark 5:25-34, we learn that she had been suffering for 12 long years, seeking healing from doctors, but none could help her. She believed that if she could just touch the hem of Jesus' garment, she would be healed. And when she touched it, she was healed instantly. Jesus, aware of the power that had gone out from him, turned around and said, "Who touched my clothes?" Mark 5:30. The woman's faith in Jesus' power to heal, even through a simple touch, demonstrates how people are drawn to the extraordinary energy that you carry as a chosen one. In the same way, when people see you, they believe that by being close to you, they may experience a change, an improvement, or even a miracle in their own lives. This phenomenon of others crowding around you can be both a blessing and a challenge. You may feel overwhelmed, even suffocated at times, with people invading your personal space. It might feel as though they are constantly trying to touch you, stand too close, or be right in your orbit. You could find yourself thinking, why can't they just give me some space? It's as if they can't help themselves. They want to be near you, drawn to your energy, and the sense that something extraordinary is just within reach. In some cases, this might even make you want to move to a different location just to get some peace and quiet. The Bible offers us many examples of similar situations where people are drawn to the presence of the extraordinary. In Luke 19:1-10, we read about Zacchaeus, a tax collector who was short in stature. When Jesus passed through Jericho, Zacchaeus, too short to see over the crowd, climbed a sycamore tree just to catch a glimpse of him. Zacchaeus was so determined to see Jesus that he was willing to make a spectacle of himself. Jesus noticed him in the tree and called out to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." Luke 19:5. This moment was life-changing for Zacchaeus, not just because of his physical proximity to Jesus, but because of the spiritual transformation that followed. These stories from the Bible highlight how the presence of the chosen one, whether it's Jesus or someone else who carries God's favor, draws people in. The crowd gathered because they recognized something special, something that had the power to heal, transform, or change their lives. They didn't just want to observe from a distance. They wanted to be close, to touch, to connect in any way possible. As someone who is chosen, you'll experience the same magnetic pull. People will crowd around you, invade your space, and try to get as close as possible because they recognize that your presence is linked to something powerful. They believe that by being near you, they might experience a breakthrough, find healing, or simply feel the energy of your unique aura. While this attention can be flattering, it can also be overwhelming. You might find yourself needing space, needing time to recharge without the constant presence of others. And that's okay. Just as Jesus took time to retreat into solitude, Mark 1:35, you too need to protect your peace and personal space. It's important to acknowledge the unique energy you carry, but also to set healthy boundaries. You don't owe anyone your space or energy simply because they want to be near you. When you begin to notice people gravitating toward you, be mindful of the responsibility you carry. Are they seeking your energy for selfish reasons, or are they truly coming with respect and honor? Set your boundaries, but also acknowledge that your presence holds power, a power that can bring healing, hope, and change to those who seek it. Just as the woman in the crowd touched Jesus' garment in faith, people around you will try to touch your life in the hope that something good will rub off on them. The question is, how will you manage the crowds, the attention, and the energy around you? How will you ensure that the space you create around yourself remains one of peace and not one of suffocation? The third thing they do, envy and rejection. When people recognize that you've been chosen, one of the most perplexing and hurtful reactions you'll encounter is envy. This may sound strange, but it's surprisingly common. What makes it even more frustrating is that this envy often doesn't have any valid cause. People simply get jealous of your unique energy and blessings, and instead of celebrating your success, they begin to distance themselves from you or even actively reject you. This rejection can come from friends, acquaintances, or even colleagues, those who were once close to you. One day they seem warm and supportive, but the next they treat you coldly as if you were beneath them. You might find yourself asking, "What did I do wrong? Why are they suddenly acting like this?" But the truth is, you haven't done anything. Their sudden rejection stems not from any fault of yours, but from their own insecurity and need to feel superior. The more you shine, the more it threatens their sense of self-worth. They feel better about themselves by trying to put you down, and that act of rejection, however painful, gives them a temporary sense of power and control. This can leave you confused, wondering why someone would treat you this way when there's no logical reason behind it. The Bible offers several examples of this kind of behavior, where envy leads to harmful actions without any justifiable cause. One of the most well-known biblical stories is that of Joseph and his brothers. In the Genesis 37, Joseph's brothers grew jealous of him because of his dreams and the special favor he received from their father, Jacob. His brothers, unable to deal with their envy, plotted against him and sold him into slavery. Their jealousy blinded them to the love their father had for them all, and instead fueled their desire to harm Joseph. Another example comes from 1 Samuel 18, where King Saul, initially supportive of David, becomes consumed by envy after David's success and the people's praise of him. Saul, threatened by David's rising popularity, tries repeatedly to kill him, despite David's loyalty and service. These stories illustrate how envy, especially when it's linked to someone else's success or favor, can lead to irrational, even dangerous actions. People who react to your success with envy are often suffering from their own internal struggles. They are energy vampires, people who feed off the positivity of others because they cannot generate it on their own. Your light shines so brightly that it makes their darkness more evident. And instead of being inspired by your energy, they feel threatened by it. The more they sense your unique qualities, the more they are reminded of what they lack. In their minds, the only way to deal with this disparity is to bring you down to their level. They may try to reject you, criticize you, or subtly undermine your success in an effort to diminish your light. If they can't control you or diminish your power, they may try to hurt you emotionally, making you doubt yourself in order to temporarily boost their own fragile self-esteem. This is often the behavior of narcissistic individuals who rely on manipulating others to feel superior. They want to see you falter because it makes them feel better, even if it's only for a short while. However, understanding that this behavior has nothing to do with you can help you handle it with grace and strength. Their rejection and negative behavior are merely a reflection of their internal struggles, not a measure of your worth or value. It's crucial to remember that when people react to your success with envy, it speaks more about their own limitations than about you. Envy is a sign of emotional weakness, a signal that they cannot handle the greatness in others because they feel small in comparison. When you encounter this kind of rejection, don't internalize it or allow it to diminish your spirit. Instead, recognize it for what it is, an attempt to manipulate and control your energy. Matthew 5:11-12 reminds us, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven." This teaches us that rejection and envy aren't about our worth, but about the way others deal with their own insecurities. What should you do when faced with this kind of envy? First, remember that their rejection doesn't define your worth or success. Instead, it's an opportunity for you to rise above and show grace. Keep shining your light, knowing that those who envy you are only reacting to your greatness because they see something in you they wish they had. Proverbs 16:7 tells us, "When the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, He causes their enemies to make peace with them." So trust that, no matter how others may act, your path is guided by a higher power, and no amount of envy can diminish the light that you carry. In the end, the envy and rejection you face are not your burdens to bear. They are reflections of others' inability to handle the extraordinary energy you bring to the world. So walk with confidence, keep your heart free from resentment, and remember that your worth is not determined by how others treat you, but by the special, chosen purpose you fulfill. The fourth thing they do, willful ignorance. When people recognize that you've been chosen, one of the most frustrating behaviors you'll face is willful ignorance. Unlike outright rejection, which is overt, this form of behavior is more subtle, but no less intentional. People will deliberately ignore you, and this is no accident. It is a calculated act designed to make you feel invisible, to undermine your confidence, and to diminish your sense of self-worth. They do this for selfish reasons, driven by their own insecurities, jealousy, and the need to feel superior. By ignoring you, they hope to bring you down, as it is easier for them to feel better about themselves if they can somehow diminish your presence in their lives. When someone deliberately ignores you, it's not just a random oversight, it is a competitive tactic. They see your success, your energy, your hard work, and your bright future, and instead of celebrating it, they are intimidated by it. So, they choose to act as if you don't exist. They may ignore your messages, avoid making eye contact, or even pretend to be too busy to engage with you in social settings. These subtle actions are meant to diminish your value in their eyes and make you feel less important. It is an act of emotional manipulation designed to diminish your energy and self-esteem. Take, for example, the behavior of a so-called friend who keeps tabs on you through social media but never interacts with your posts. They might know about your recent achievements through gossip, but pretend to show no interest when you share the good news. They will go out of their way to ignore you when you try to make contact, always finding an excuse or pretending that they are too busy to engage. This behavior is no accident. It is part of a deliberate plan to make you question your worth. By ignoring you, they hope to create the illusion that their lives are just as busy and successful as yours, even if deep down they are struggling with insecurity. This tactic is all about energy. These individuals seek to match or even surpass the positive energy that you naturally radiate, but they are too afraid to acknowledge your greatness. So instead, they try to make you feel neglected or devalued. They want you to think that their lives are just as meaningful and full as yours, but in reality, they are merely trying to deflate your self-worth in order to feel more secure in their own lives. This kind of behavior is toxic and is designed to create doubt and uncertainty in you. It's frustrating because willful ignorance is so insidious. It's not as obvious as open rejection, but it's still deeply hurtful. You can tell when someone is intentionally ignoring you, especially when you know they are aware of your presence and achievements. They will go out of their way to make it seem like you don't matter to them. For example, you may reach out to them and then see them posting on social media immediately after, responding to other people but avoiding any contact with you. It becomes apparent that they are pretending to be busy, all while deliberately ignoring your attempts to connect. It's a manipulative game designed to make you doubt yourself and your value. This behavior often stems from jealousy, a deep-seated insecurity that makes it hard for some people to celebrate the success of others. Instead of recognizing and appreciating your accomplishments, they feel threatened by your light and need to dim it in order to feel better about themselves. This dynamic is incredibly toxic, and it's important to recognize it for what it is: a reflection of their inner struggles and not a reflection of your worth. So, how do you deal with this willful ignorance? The first step is to recognize that their behavior has nothing to do with you. It's not a reflection of your value, but a manifestation of their own inability to cope with your success. Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This is a powerful reminder that you are not alone in these moments. You are being supported, and your worth is not determined by how others treat you. The best way to counteract this behavior is to remain confident in who you are. Keep shining your light, no matter how hard they try to dim it. Psalm 34:5 says, "Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame." When you stay true to yourself, you radiate positivity and confidence, and no amount of willful ignorance can take that away from you. Recognize that their actions stem from their own insecurities, not from any lack in you. In the end, don't allow willful ignorance to rob you of your peace. Keep moving forward with grace and confidence, knowing that their behavior speaks volumes about their internal struggles. You are the chosen one for a reason, and no amount of manipulation or deliberate neglect can change that truth. Keep your focus on your journey and trust that as you continue to rise, the people who truly value you will see your light and come closer, not to dim it, but to bask in it. The fifth thing they do: constantly bragging about their achievements. When people recognize that you've been chosen, one of the most draining behaviors you'll encounter is constant bragging. It can feel like every interaction with certain individuals is a competition that they insist on dominating. You'll find that some people, unable to cope with the unique energy you exude, will try to prove their worth by boasting about their latest successes. It might start innocently enough, with them mentioning a new purchase or an event they're attending, but soon these boasts become more frequent and more exaggerated. "I just bought a new car," they'll say, or "I'm attending this exclusive event tonight," as if their accomplishments will somehow elevate them to your level. The need to constantly flaunt their successes can become tiresome, And no matter how polite or supportive you try to be, you can't escape the overwhelming feeling that they are trying to outdo you. Every conversation seems to be about them, their wealth, or their status. It's as though they believe that if they boast about their achievements enough, they can match or even surpass the energy you radiate naturally. Their need to compete with you is palpable, and it can quickly turn an otherwise pleasant interaction into a one-sided competition. What makes this even more frustrating is the way they often disregard your achievements. When it's your turn to share something positive in your life, they might abruptly change the subject, pretending not to hear you or offering a dismissive response. It's almost as if your accomplishments are less important than their own. You might feel a sense of frustration as they shift the conversation back to themselves, not even allowing you the space to celebrate your own victories. This behavior makes it clear that their aim is not to engage in a genuine mutual exchange, but to dominate the conversation by making themselves the center of attention. Their constant boasting is not just a display of self-promotion, it's a subtle but persistent form of competition. They don't openly acknowledge you as someone special, but instead try to overshadow you with their own stories and accomplishments. This is a defense mechanism driven by insecurities. They are not trying to lift you up, they are trying to bring themselves up by diminishing the attention you might naturally attract. It's not that they want to celebrate with you, but rather that they feel the need to prove something, either to themselves or to the world. They want to be seen as just as successful, just as important, but they go about it in the wrong way, by overshadowing you instead of elevating themselves through their own merits. This form of subtle competition is often tiring because it forces you to constantly watch as they try to one-up you without truly celebrating the good things that are happening in your life. It's a clear sign that their need for validation outweighs any desire for authentic connection. Their bragging is a reflection of their internal struggle to feel adequate as they desperately seek to compare themselves to you, hoping that, by putting their achievements in the spotlight, they can somehow match your greatness. You may feel drained by these interactions, as if their need to prove themselves is taking up all of your emotional energy. This isn't just a casual conversation, it's a competition, and they are trying to win. Recognizing this dynamic can help you navigate these interactions with a clearer perspective. Understand that their boasting has little to do with you, but everything to do with their own insecurity. They see you as someone who naturally shines, and rather than celebrating your success, they react by desperately trying to overshadow it. In moments like these, 1 Corinthians 12:26 offers us a reminder. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. In other words, when others succeed, we should rejoice with them. Their boasting, however, shows they have not yet learned this truth. Instead of uplifting others, they feel the need to compete. Your challenge is to recognize that their constant need to brag is their problem, not yours. Keep shining your light and don't allow their need for validation to dim your spirit. Your worth does not depend on their approval, and your energy will always stand apart because it is rooted in something much deeper than material success. As Proverbs 27:2 reminds us, let another praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. Your value will be evident even without constant boasting. Stay humble and grounded, and remember that the chosen ones do not need to prove anything. They simply are. Last but not least, the sixth thing they do, blaming you for their problems. When people recognize that you've been chosen, one of the most shocking and frustrating behaviors you'll face is being blamed for their own problems. This can be especially painful when it comes from those closest to you, partners, friends, or even family members. You might find yourself caught off guard when someone you care about shifts responsibility for their struggles onto you. It could be something as trivial as an argument or as significant as a missed opportunity. But they will find a way to make it your fault. For instance, a partner might say, "It's your fault we had that fight," even when the disagreement had nothing to do with you. Or they might claim, "You told me to do the dishes," twisting the situation to make it appear that you are somehow responsible for their frustration. These accusations often feel like an unfair weight on your shoulders, especially when you know deep down that you were not the cause of their problems. This behavior is rooted in their inability or unwillingness to confront their own issues. As someone who is strong and successful, you may become an easy target for their frustrations. They see you as a scapegoat for their failures, deflecting the blame from themselves to you. They may say things like, "We didn't get into the club because of you," or "It's your fault we missed that opportunity," even when the reasons for these situations have nothing to do with you. Instead of owning their actions or lack thereof, they point the finger at you to deflect attention from their own shortcomings. People who engage in this kind of blame shifting often do so out of insecurity and jealousy. When they see your success and positive direction in life, it shines a light on their own struggles and inadequacies. Instead of dealing with their own problems, they try to make you feel responsible for their unhappiness. This is especially common in those with low self-esteem or a deep need to put others down in order to feel better about themselves. In the Bible, we see similar behavior in the story of Joseph. His brothers, filled with jealousy and resentment over his favored status and dreams, blamed him for their own feelings and sold him into slavery. Genesis 37. Their actions were not driven by any wrongdoing on Joseph's part, but by their own insecurities. When someone blames you for their struggles, it's not about you at all. It's about their inability to face their own challenges. They don't want to acknowledge their own mistakes or shortcomings, so they make you the scapegoat. They may say, "You're the reason I haven't succeeded," or "It's your fault I'm unhappy," in an attempt to justify their own lack of progress or satisfaction. Often, there is no logical reason behind their blame, just a need to deflect and avoid accountability. Recognizing this behavior for what it is can help you navigate these difficult interactions. Their blame is not a reflection of your actions, but a symptom of their internal struggles. As hard as it may be, you must not internalize their accusations or let them undermine your confidence. Keep moving forward in the path God has set for you, knowing that their behavior is rooted in their own insecurity and fear. Matthew 7:3-5 speaks directly to this behavior. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. In the same way, those who blame you for their problems are focused on your supposed flaws while ignoring their own. They need to take responsibility for their actions and stop blaming you for what they refuse to face. Understanding this can help you maintain your peace and confidence as you continue to pursue your purpose. By recognizing that their blaming behavior stems from their own inner turmoil, you can protect your emotional and mental well-being. Stay grounded in your purpose, knowing that their struggles are not a reflection of you. Their attempt to drag you down is just a distraction from the true work that lies ahead. Your success and light will continue to shine, and no one can take that away from you. So, my friends, being recognized as chosen brings with it a unique set of challenges and behaviors from others. While it's uplifting to be seen and recognized for your unique energy and purpose, it also attracts envy, competition, and blame. The people around you don't always know how to deal with your presence and can react in frustrating and confusing ways. It's important to understand that these reactions usually have more to do with their insecurities and struggles than with you. Navigating these interactions with grace and resilience is key. Set boundaries when necessary and remember to stay true to yourself. Embrace the positive attention and opportunities that come your way, but don't let the negativity of others discourage you. Your journey as a chosen one is meaningful and powerful. Continue to shine your light and let your inner strength guide you through these challenges. Keep moving forward with confidence, knowing that your path is one of purpose and divine direction. I want to take a moment to send my deepest blessings to each one of you watching this. You are chosen for a reason, and your journey is divinely guided. May you continue to rise above the challenges and shine brightly in all your endeavors. May God bless you with the strength to face every obstacle, the wisdom to navigate every interaction, and the courage to embrace your unique purpose. You are destined for greatness, and your light cannot be dimmed. Share your story, your victories, and your challenges, knowing that you are not alone. May your path be filled with love, peace, and abundant blessings. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let's lift each other up with love, share our joys and struggles, and offer blessings to one another. Like this video, share it with those who need encouragement, and continue to bless others with your kindness and strength. You are chosen and you are powerful. Keep shining, and may God's grace continue to surround you.